All right. Welcome to Unlocking Product Management with Gen AI. My name is Don, and I'm here with my good friend Ravi. And we're here to talk to you about something that both of us tend to run into quite a bit with our clients. These days, a lot of them are in leadership positions. They've been asked to be strategic. They've got these vague ideas, but the best they usually come up with are, a list of activities and tasks. So a lot of the time we've spent for years now is helping them become more strategic. And both of us have encountered some real value when it comes to using AI here, kind of using them as a partner in getting creative in strategic. And we're going to show you a few things here. So Ravi, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
My name is Ravi Verma. Like Don, I'm based out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And like Don, I'm also a Scrum.org professional Scrum trainer. And my experience with my customers has been similar to Don's. There's been a lot of interest in our customer base where our customers are curious about how might we integrate generative AI in our product development work in an effective and a safe and an ethical way. And so today, I'm hoping that this conversation between Don and I will give you some ideas. So Don?
We'll give you a little bit of a tour, but just to kind of build a little context here, or the scope of what we're trying to accomplish. Here's usually where we use a lot of these concepts, and what we're talking about here is idea to strategy. It can happen in a lot of different places here, and this is a great graphic that Ravi came up with, and maybe give us a quick little tour of this.
What we noticed that in the typical software product development process, especially if you're using an agile approach, we start with an idea. The next step is, okay, how do I create an executable strategy? Once you have a strategy, how do I create maybe some kind of a proof of concept or maybe a high level set of, let's say, user stories? Once you got the user stories, the organization that I'm working with right now, which is Resumex, has come up with a technique called smart contracts. Think of smart contracts as behavior driven development on steroids. So once you have a bunch of, let's say, user stories, how can you define the desired outcome in terms of machine verifiable conditions? And then once you understand what the measurable outcomes are you're trying to achieve, you deliver to market, which is smart contract to delivery. Now, all ideas are suspect until proven otherwise by the market. You got to deliver, and the market is going to tell you which of your hypotheses was valid or not. You come back with insights, and from insights, you can choose which of those insights have ideas that you want to loop back into your software product development process.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the situation we're in is we have ideas either from the marketplace or you've been told to go in a certain direction, but now you need a strategy. There's lots of ways to do this. We are going to introduce you to one that we use, sort of variation. There's no one way, but we'll show you what we're going to attempt to do here with you. So we have an idea. What's next? There's many ways you can go from here. You could go try to build a vision from that idea. You can build a model first, a business model. So, for the purposes of this talk, we're going to go right into a business model. You can use Lean Canvas, business model canvas is the example we have here. There's no one right way. I like the business model canvas. It's one I've used the most. I like starting with it. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time using the business model canvas. I do this with clients all the time. You're looking at an hour, 2 hours to get through it all, kind of reach consensus. We're going to have Gen AI help us with this. We're then going to move with based off of this information, we're going to kind of drill into a vision. So we'll talk about that. This is sometimes one of the hardest things to do is to build a compelling vision. So we're going to see how we can get help with that. Every step of the way, we'll suggest some prompts, but we also will have some improvement prompts here. So things to think about, because if you just take the first thing you get from it, you're probably not going to be too successful. So this will help you improve the results. From there, once we have a vision and we know we've got our business model and a vision, it's a good step next. The next good step is to get personas built out, and that's what we'll do next. And then from there, we will generate a roadmap, a candidate roadmap. And then we'll refine it as well. So where we'll choose it for about the next year. Maybe we'll have some ideas for the year after. But this is a goal-oriented roadmap. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. And then in the small amount of time we have with you, the outrageous goal here is to actually have a candidate product backlog for the first quarter. That's what we're going to try to achieve in the next, what, 20, 30 minutes? I don't know. We'll see how long this takes.
Yeah. And you know what I love about generative AI is I feel that it reduces the barrier to help our customers cross the knowing doing gap. So a lot of times, Don and I go to a client, we teach them these techniques, and then we check in on them a few months later, and we ask them, which of the techniques we taught you in training are you using? Sometimes the answer is none of them because it was too overwhelming. So what we're hoping to explore in today's video is, can the use of generative AI lower that barrier and help you start doing things which you know are right, but were too paralyzing or overwhelming. So let's get started.
So we need an idea to start. And so this is Ravi and I spend time with our customers, talking to them a little bit about their ideas, just using whatever words that they have. We'll usually try to get them to write it down, however they see it. So in this case, I have this awesome idea I've been thinking about for many, many years here. It's called Nerd Baskets. And the situation I find myself in year after year is I got to send gifts to clients and colleagues and people that work for me. And it's always like crackers and wine and some stale cheese and pears and fruits and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of variation. And ultimately, I work with people that have specialized needs, or nerds. We'll say that. They have their own likes and dislikes. We want an idea around that. That's my idea. I want something better in that sense. So it's nerd baskets. It's specialized gifts, or gift baskets would be a good one, um, that people care about. They actually care about this stuff. That's what I want. No more fruits and stale crackers and stuff like that. So I know that's the idea. It's pretty high level right now. So what do we do next?
Yeah. So what Don and I are going to demo next is we are going to go to some bots which have been created by Resumex. These are based out of ChatGPT. You can use any large language model that you prefer. We just happen to choose the Resumex bots for this video. And the first thing that we are going to do is we're just going to have an open-ended conversation with one of the bots where we are just going to tell it about our idea and see what kind of ideas it has to offer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the prompt. I'm going to summarize or paraphrase the idea that Don created and share it with this Resumex trained bot called Wheeler Dealer. So here's what I'm going to say, and Don, correct me if I mistype, don't capture your intent. I want to build a product called Nerd Basket that delivers specialized baskets.
That people care about.
Okay, let me just people care.
And
So
maybe
let's
put a gift, maybe specialized gift baskets,
give baskets.
so they know it's gifts. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what kind of ideas this bot has for us. So started seeing if I'm a product manager or a product owner, maybe I already have some of these, or maybe it has some new ideas I haven't thought about. So Don, as the person, as the entrepreneur who came up with this, what comes up for you as you look at these thoughts?
So it's saying, who do you envision the main audience for nerd baskets? We're talking about tech enthusiasts, fantasy fans, gamers. Yes, all of those. Um, Probably tech enthusiasts is who I work with quite a bit. I see a need there. Sci-fi franchises, coding tools, even retro. I hadn't thought of coding tools. That would be pretty cool. But definitely like sci-fi franchises, that sort of thing. Gaming paraphernalia is what I had in mind.
Okay. So
Products
the
and
first, so
yep,
the first one I said our primary audience are tech enthusiasts. Again, we're just trying to illustrate how to use it. And I think the second thing you said was the basket themes. You said sci-fi.
yeah, and gaming paraphernalia, sci-fi and gaming. Oh, that's great. And and I also see that there's a need for like luxury items too. So sometimes you could be nerd around, I don't know, whiskey or cigars or wine.
Sci-fi luxury baskets. That is cool. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, scroll up a little bit there. So it says Galactic Gentleman, Starship Sommelier. That's amazing. Yeah, that's really good.
Cool.
So I think it's got me thinking about different things. It's asking me to focus in different areas. And once again, this is the type of thing we do with our clients, right? And it can be hard trying to drill down and knowing what those questions are. This creative process becomes tough. So the way Ravi and I have talked about it, and I've mentioned some colleagues that mention it this way too. When you're using AI, the best way to think about it is an assistant. And just like you should never let the assistant just go and publish something right away, this is an enthusiastic assistant that has the world at their fingertips. They're going to do all sorts of stuff. It may not always be exact, but they're there to ultimately help us, and we are ultimately accountable for the results, right? And we don't just point fingers at the assistant. They will be wrong sometimes. They may head in the wrong direction. So we are keeping an eye on it as we go. So the next thing I suggest we do is let's go into build a business model, right? So this wheeler dealer, the point of it is to kind of get us thinking about it a little bit more, right? It asks us questions, we narrow our focus a little bit. And it's not a bad step now to move into a business model. Now, when we talk about business models have been around forever, and from a product ownership standpoint, we often talk about you treating your product as a business. So just like you would build a business model for your organization, for any new business idea, I would do the same thing for each of your products out there. So we spend a lot of time in this area, but it is a bit of work going through every element here. It'd be nice if our assistant could get us started with this. So I wonder if we could say, given everything we've talked about so far, could you put together a business model? What I'm showing here is the business model canvas, but there's lean canvas, there's other ways of doing this. And it doesn't really matter, right, in that case, as long as we start to focus down this road of a business model. So could we maybe try the next bot and have it build a business model for us?
Let's do it. So we're going to go to the next part, uh, which has been custom trained to create the lean canvas. But let's try what happens. Let's ask it to create the business model canvas. And so Don, please correct me as needed. So based on the information that I've shared, can you please create a business model canvas for.
Oh wow, it even does the boxes and everything.
Now, this part is buggy and it's inconsistent. So there are times when I have got the format exactly as I asked for it, and then sometimes it's not that well formatted. If you wanted to, when
How
we do
about you
the
say,
edit,
could you say, can you give it to me in text format? Yeah. So that's what I'm used to doing. on here, and then we can just move them into our own business model here, right? So it doesn't have to build it. But if you let's start with customer segments. So in there, remember the tech enthusiasts, sci-fi and gaming fans, individuals who have interest in both geek culture and luxury items. Those are the customer segments that we talked about. And then moving on to value propositions, offer a unique blend of technology, sci-fi, luxury items, and in curated gift baskets tailored specifically for tech-oriented individuals and enthusiasts. Great. Unfair advantage, exclusive partnerships, premiums, premium brands to provide customers with unique and exclusive tech and luxury items. Great. Um, that's all key metrics, measure customer satisfaction, rate of repeat purchases. So these are all good things that we could then move into a business model. Um, this is only giving us the lean canvas though, right? It wouldn't give us the business model canvas.
Would you like to, so we could ask, can you also, what are the missing segments here compared to the template that
Channels,
you, what's that? Channels.
channels in customer relationships.
Can you enhance the business model to include channels and
There we go. Yeah, and then all the way down to revenue streams, generate revenue through the sale of themed gift baskets, potentially offer a subscription model, explore revenue opportunities from exclusive content partnerships. Great, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
okay, where should we go next?
So here we can put everything into our model here. So usually if I'm working with a client, we would then say, all right, well, let's pull stuff up from there and it'll give us some conversations that we can have as we do that. We place them into something like here. Um, and then make sure you're reading as you're doing this. Can you add, remove elements? Give me more of something if it's going in a certain direction. If it's going in a wrong direction, remember, this is our assistant doing the best job they can. It's up to us to guide it along the way. So why don't we go to the next place? Since we've given it quite a bit of information right now, it's got an idea of who the customer segments are, how we're going to make money. I'd like a compelling vision. And like I said, this is one of the hardest things. I'll do half-day sessions on just trying to come up with a compelling vision, and we'll get close. And we usually have to come back after people think about it for another week and do it again. And what I found is a great use of Gen AI is to really drill down into this. So if we could we ask it to write a compelling vision statement? So the prompt would be, can you help me write a compelling vision statement? And since we're using the Resumex bots who are trained here, I think that's a different one, right? What's it called?
Yeah, so we're going to go to the Vision Master. Help me write a compelling
To become the premier destination for tech enthusiasts seeking extraordinary and personalized gift experience that celebrate their passions for sci-fi, gaming, and luxury. Their baskets aims to inspire and delight our community, curating unique products, merge innovation with indulgence, transforming the traditional gift into a memorable journey that resonates with the spirit of geek culture and luxury living. I like it. Um, I wonder if it could be shorter. Can we ask it to be a bit shorter? Feels a little
build.
bit over wordy, you know what I mean? Fancy words. A bit shorter and impactful, I guess. Often these things will give you like huge vision statements. So I'm used to saying things like some of the improvement prompts are sum it up in 3 sentences, maybe make it more emotional. Redefine gift giving for tech enthusiasts by delivering unique, personalized experience that celebrates their love for sci-fi, gaming, and luxury. And you know, one of the things that kind of hits me there, and I wonder if it would work in here is I'd like to the statement of like no more crackers and fruit baskets is something that I would like to add to that. The vision
Can
is
you
that those companies no longer exist.
Killing those crackers and fruit basket. So they better watch out.
Crackers and fruit. Yeah.
I also wonder, one of the intents we have is when we give somebody we care about a gift, we want them to feel loved. And I see the cool part of it here, but ultimately it's such an intimate thing to take time
Yep.
out of your life to give someone a curated gift basket. So I wonder if it can, let me ask you, you're the product owner. Would
100%. Emotion is probably the first thing I always ask for. Is like it's not emotional. I want people to feel like we're changing people's lives by building this, and it's true of everybody's products, right? The work you're doing is changing somebody's life for the better most of the time, and the vast majority of the time. So can we communicate that in the vision would be fantastic. So can you enhance it to have more emotion? Yep.
this how it will change.
Revolutionize gift giving. We aim to bring joy and connection to every recipient, transforming the act of gift giving into a moment of personal discovery and excitement. No more crackers and fruit baskets. I love it. We could probably play with this a little bit more, but why don't we take that, if you could you take that and put it into the mural so that we don't lose it? And so yes, a computer is building our vision statement, but you see how it still needed to connect with us. And having done quite a few of these, um, it just gets you so much further ahead rather than wordsmithing and all that stuff with a group of people going in different directions. It's just a great way to get started. Yes, ultimately, it's not a vision until everybody believes in it, but this is a good start. Something small that we can put up there and remind ourselves about as we go. Great. So I see you've got it in there. Let me make it I'm gonna make it just a little bit smaller. Put it in there and let's see where we can go next. By the way, you saw some of the improvement prompts. We kind of hit on quite a few of these already. So let's go to the next prompt. Now that we have a vision, we now have a business model. Um, let's come up with some personas. So can you help me identify personas for this product? We kind of have an idea of customer segments, but a persona is like really putting a name to it, like trying to understand different types of customers more deeply. So we're going to go now and try to have, with the help of AI here, generate a few personas.
So how many personas would you like, Don?
Let's do three.
So
You,
let
I'd
me let
probably
me
want more in real world, but I got three spots here. Let's fill them up.
so can you so I'll start with a prompt, Don, and if it doesn't resonate, please make a counter offer. So can you suggest the three most important personas for our product?
Great. So we have the tech savvy enthusiast, 25 to 35, software developer, interests, pain points are in here, struggles to find gifts that match their unique interests and passions. The gaming aficionado, good. What's the third one?
And the third one is the luxury
Luxury.
geek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
one I would like to hit on though, because I think there's a revenue stream, it just popped into my head, is what about like a corporate gift buyer who's like buying unique gifts for people? I think there's a lot of maybe opportunity there if we can get them, the corporations piece, and that could be another revenue stream too, right? Corporate accounts.
yeah. Also, one thing I want to share, Don. So, in my experience with clients, sometimes what happens is when we create a lot of personas, people struggle to remember who's who. So, one technique that I have used is using alliterative names for personas. So, for example, it could be Tony, the tech savvy enthusiast, and
Yes.
Yami, right? So, how do you feel, Don, if I ask the bot to give alliterative names?
Yes. Absolutely.
And the
I'm
topic
used to,
of, sorry, go ahead.
I'm used to doing that too, is having some names attached to them so we can refer to them easier. Yeah. So you can do it in
Uh,
the same field here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be possible, but let's see. And I'm intentionally trying to use gender neutral names because I have made the mistake of, overusing typically a male gender, and that has made, people, the women in my customers feel excluded. So I'm trying to be very thoughtful and intentional
That's
about
great.
my biases.
Jordan, the corporate gift buyer, 35 to 50, corporate procurement specialist and HR manager. Sam, yeah. So they are gender neutral names. Enjoys fine wines, whiskeys, luxuries. That's the luxury geek. Can I look at the corporate buyer again?
Sure.
Struggles to find distinctive personalized gift that satisfy diverse personalities within the corporate setting. Yeah, I like that. And what about images? I also like having photos as well. Will it produce those?
There might be a limitation that this doesn't, but ChatGPT does. But let's try that. I am not sure if it will. Can you create images for each of these?
Okay. But certainly with something you can do with your ChatGPT tools is depending on which licenses you have and stuff is you can generate images for each of these and it does a really good job of that.
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So now we've got four. We could probably re-rank them and stuff, but the corporate gift buyer was one I thought would be important there. We did some improvements. Can you remove a persona? Can you give me a persona for someone that is, in this direction, more diverse personas? Um, things to think about as you go through here. So now, where are we? You've got a business model. We have a compelling vision. We've got personas. So we're well on our way, and it's only 20 minutes. So why don't we go to the next step? So we've got all these ideas, and certainly, these bots aren't going to know your environment, but often we're asked for a roadmap. So I often will use the bots to kind of get me started thinking about a order of things, and it's something that we can take to our organization and kind of work through. So the next thing we're going to try to do, and we may not have a specific bot for this, but we'll see where we can go with it, is a goal-oriented roadmap for the next year. So it's a little bit different than your traditional one. A goal-oriented roadmap is one that focuses less on the number of things we do, but more on the types of behaviors that we can change within our group, our stakeholders. And then we can also outline a few core features as well. So generally, these AI tools should know what a goal-oriented roadmap is. So I was wondering if we could ask it to come up with a goal-oriented roadmap for the next year, and hopefully that'll break it down into some things we can try in the next 4 quarters.
Okay, so let's say, can you help us create a goal-oriented roadmap for the next year? And let's see what happens. And then we'll make adjustments as needed. This is
Great. So what does it have for the first quarter?
feels like okay.
Market analysis, product development, finalize themes for baskets, curate partnerships with premium brands for exclusive items, branding. So market analysis, product development, and branding. Q2 is suggesting a pre-launch and testing, so we actually can get something out to test the market by Q2. Develop a comprehensive marketing plan focused on digital influencing market, beta testing, release a limited batch of baskets just so we can get up and running within the second quarter, launch third quarter for expansion and optimization in here, product diversification, new themes by Q4. What do you think of that roadmap?
Yeah, it's interesting. And if I was to do a yes and, then I would say, can you vertically slice roadmap items so that each uh, quarter has the following information? Stakeholders differently.
Mm-hmm. What will they know? Yeah.
Provide high-level features that users will be able to use.
And then metrics are good. Yeah. Can you
And
metrics to goal is what I often ask it.
metrics that will tell us whether or not our features delivering value we hope they would.
And this is my variation of a goal-oriented roadmap, by the way. So it's a simplified version with these areas here. So it was a good prompt to get it to fit into whatever model you want to use for your
Yeah.
roadmaps. So great. Let's go to the top one again. So Q1, research and development, high-level features, user personas, prototypes of gift baskets, branding materials, metrics, completion and approval of market research reports, feedback from stakeholder reviews of prototypes, brand identity consistency is rated by focus group. So this does provide value because this will show us if there's a market, right? And this is one of the things in the agile world is that maybe we're not releasing complete products for the whole world, but we are creating valuable increments. And in this case, is it worth investing in? That seems to be the goal of the Q1. Q2, pre-launch and testing. We're actually delivering stuff to beta groups, I believe, in here, beta version of baskets, again, giving us feedback. Usability test scores, user feedback, engagement metrics from the pre-launch activities, feedback on the beta baskets, and do they like them? Launching Q3. So yeah, so these are the sorts of things we would put in here, and it's from this that we can move on to an actual product backlog. One of the things I like to do is have a focused product backlog for a quarter. So let's just focus on that first quarter. So maybe the next thing we can do, and I don't know if this is another bot, Ravi, but we said we wanted to end with a product backlog. So what if we created user stories for the Q1 in that roadmap? So that
So,
the backlog is the plan to achieve the goal we just set. So how about Q1 activities for building the website?
list of uh, user stories that to capture Q1. Yeah, so this is showing a waterfall bias, I feel. These
Yeah.
are not,
It's showing things like web as a web developer, as a yeah, I'd want them still to be focused on users, right? But I mean, I like there's payment gateway, usability tests, create compelling copy and product descriptions. Yeah, maybe say, can you make the user stories more focused on um yeah, users.
can that solve the problem for others?
There we go.
Yeah,
So let's see the first one real quick. As a visitor, I can easily navigate the website with intuitive and responsive design. Okay, there's one. I can browse a detailed product catalog. Yeah. I can experience a seamless checkout process. A potential buyer can read engaging and informative product descriptions. I can trust the website security is another good one. Search engines, SEO stuff, I see. Returning customer, I can search and filter product themes and categories based on, I guess, their needs, that stuff that they've already let us know. So it's a good start, right? So just like we did, you might have to refine it a little bit. If you know what to look for in a good user story, you may have to prompt it, right? Because your assistant isn't always going to have all the information, but we can guide it along the way. So
yeah, Don, one idea I had was, can you enhance the user stories to include persona names?
oh yeah, nice. So these are the personas from before, and it just works that well.
Very cool.
So I think it's a good starting point, stopping point, I'd say, for this part, because like we've gone from a vague idea, and it just helped us as we went through. We changed our mind on what we wanted in here, and it kind of it narrowed it down a little bit to eventually we have a product backlog that we can start with. It's not the final thing, but it's as good as anything I've come up with at the beginning of an engagement with a group of people. It's a lot quicker. We did this in 30 minutes or so. This is usually multi-day sessions, I find, when working with a group of people. Likely it'll take longer than this, but like imagine you still do those things, but you've got you've got help in the room in the form of a Gen AI tool like this, and that we should be checking our ideas against it. And it's going to bring us to new ideas from that. So in 30 minutes, we went from an idea to somewhat of a strategy over the next year. Um, but before we do leave, we should probably just give you a few warnings here. Um, just be careful. Depending on the I've tried this with ChatGPT. I've tried it with Copilot. We all get similar results. But there is every time you put something out there, there's no guarantee on what happens. So check with each of these tools around their data privacy and where it goes, because that can be an issue here. You may not want to be putting all your ideas. I'm going to get my nerd basket stolen now, but out there into here. And then a human bias as well. ChatGPT is only as good as the information that's out there. It's learning stuff. It could be learning stuff the wrong way based on what human bias already exists out there on the web. You want to say something about hallucinations?
Yeah, ChatGPT in some ways is like me, can be very confidently wrong. So just because ChatGPT or whatever large language model you might be using is extremely confident in saying something, please don't take it as the gospel truth. Apply human intelligence, community intelligence, and trust but verify. And be aware of the possibility that ChatGPT or whatever model you're using is very confidently wrong. So tap into the wisdom of the crowds. And as Don mentioned, imagine it's a very hyper enthusiastic intern, but it might be using sources of information which are not credible or reaching unreliable conclusions. So don't blindly trust it. And in terms of human oversight, that leads to the last part, which is use techniques maybe like the perfection game or other appropriate techniques to get checks and balances into whatever pathway is being suggested by the model. So those are my thoughts. Don.
Remember, it's your assistant, it's your intern. Yeah, that's the best advice I think I've heard out there. I know we've been using it quite a bit, but yes, the human oversight. So, and you can see the real benefit here is knowing what to ask, and so that's why we kind of put it out in this piece. If you don't know what questions to ask, it's going to be hard to move forward with it. If you just said, "Hey, build me a plan for this idea," and just went with it blindly, you're not going to get the results you want. But knowing what to ask and how to make it better through these improvement prompts, that's the key. And that's not stuff that takes experience and trying it. So still a lot of the product management techniques that are out there still very much apply. It's the hard part of wordsmithing and ideating and changing your minds, pivoting. That's the hard part. And they can really help with that type of work here. All right.
Yeah, and
Well, so much.
what I would like to add, Don, is the quality of life is determined by the quality of questions we ask. My life coach taught me that. So I think what Don is emphasizing is gotta ask the right questions. And also you have to put your own human ingenuity because remember, all your competitors have access to the same models. And if all you're doing is building a product that was regurgitated by ChatGPT, how are you going to be different from your competitors? So please don't allow this to replace your human ingenuity. Use it to complement it.
Great. Well, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions at all, my name is Don McGreal. You can find me on LinkedIn or improving.com, which is where I work. Please send me information, send me any questions you have. But thank you guys for hanging in there. Ravi?
Likewise, my name is Ravi Verma. You can find me on LinkedIn or orgwhisperers.com. And yeah, if Don or I can help you, we would love to. And we hope you found this useful.
Thanks, Ravi. That was fun.
Thank you. That was.